Good morning, students. Today's lesson will be on perimeter and circumference of a circle. Let's turn to page 810 to begin the lesson. So, perimeter is the continuous line to form a geometric figure, a shape. So, if I was to have three lines, each of these lines would be included to make the shape of a triangle. So each line would need to be added to be able to find the perimeter. Each line has a size. So for example, let's say each line is 3 inches. The total of all these would equal your perimeter, and that's how much it took to create the triangle. So to get the perimeter, you need to add all three sides in this case. So it'd be 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9 inches. Let's do another example. This time, let's do a different one. Let's do a rectangle. Let's say this is 8 and 2. So for a rectangle, the opposite side is the same. So in this case, 2 inches would be 2 inches here and 8 inches here. So to find the perimeter of this, we need to add all of these together. So 8 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2. That equals 20 inches. There is also a way to solve them faster. So for example, in this case of this one, you have all three sides are equal. And this only works if the sides are equal. So in this case, each side is equal. So you can do 3, because each side is 3 inches, times 3, because you have 3 sides in this case. So 3 times 3 is 9 inches, which gives you the same answer. Now for this one, it's a little similar, but you have some different sizes on the sides as well. So you would have to do, you only have 2 of the 8 inches, so you would do 8 times 2 plus, and then you have 2 of the 2 inches. So 2 inches times 2. So you have 4, and in this case you have 16. So 16 plus 4 equals 20 inches. Now let's do one of the examples on the book. So let's go to page 810, and let's go to example 5A. So 5A is the example I actually did already. Let's do B. So B in the book shows it is L, L, W, W. So what's the perimeter for this? So in this case, we don't have actual numbers, but we're doing letters. So it would be L plus L, and then W plus W. And that equals 2L and 2W. So the perimeter would be 2L plus 2W. Now we made them into numbers. Let's just say this one is 10 inches, 10 inches, 4 inches, and 4 inches. You would do 10 plus 10 equals 20 plus 4 plus 4, 28 inches. Example 5C, you have a square. And each square is S, S, S. So a square, all sides are the same size. So in this case, you would do S times 4, because there's 4 sides. So your answer would be 4S. And if you had a number, let's just say each one is 2 inches. So then you would do 2 inches times 4, because of the 4 sides, 8 equals 8 inches. And now for example D, that one's a little tougher. Let me try to draw that shape. So this one you have 60, 40, 3, 1, and 3. So remember to get the perimeter, this one's a little different because all the sides are different. None of them equal. So there will be no multiplication, only addition. So in this case, you got to add each of these numbers. So it'd be 60 plus 40 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1. The first one's 100, 103, 106, and 107. So your perimeter for this shape would be 107 millimeters. So the circumference is also known as the perimeter of a circle. The reason why we don't just call it perimeter is because it's a curved geometrical shape. It's not like the other ones. So the circle has no sides, so we can't use the same formula that we would use for a triangle, a square, or rectangle to get the perimeter. So it's done a little different, and the perimeter for a circle would be called a circumference. Let's just, before we get to learning about it, let's learn a little bit about different measurements in a circle. So if you do a line this way or this way, that line would be called the diameter. The diameter is just basically a straight line that passes from one side to the other side of the circle, right through the center of it. As we move on further into learning about circles and diameters, that one line itself could have a size. So in this case, the full line, the diameter of the circle would be 8 inches. The radius is a straight line from the center of the circle to the end. So instead of going complete, like for example from this one, your radius would only be halfway. So then the radius for the 8 inches of diameter would be half. So it'd be 4 inches instead of 8 because you're only going halfway. In a circle, we also have something called pi. And pi is basically the ratio of the circumference of the circle to its diameter. Pi is represented by the Greek letter pi, which is the abbreviation for perimeter. Pi is a very complex number because it's a decimal that keeps going on forever. It's best to remember 3.14, but then from here, all the numbers continue to go on forever and forever. And it's just a various of different numbers with no real pattern. So in order to get the circumference of a circle, we have a formula. The formula is C equals 2 times pi times r. And remember, r is your radius. So let's take an example from the circle here. So remember that we said 4 inches is your radius. So to get the circumference of the circle, you would do C equals 2 times pi, and then your radius is 4. So then your answer here would be C equals 8 pi. So you do 2 times 4, and then again, we don't do the actual pi because it's a long, complex number. So just to simplify the answer, you would just do 8 times pi because that's what you would do to get the answer. Now, let's turn over to page 812. And let's do the first example, 6A. All right, so 6A. We'll do 6A and 6B. All right. So 6A, it says the circumference of a circle whose radius is 2 meters. So we'll draw a circle. And remember, the radius only goes halfway of the circle. So we'll stop here. And it says the radius is 2 meters. So we'll use our formula, which is circumference equals 2 times pi times radius. Remember, our radius is 2, so let's change this. So it'll be 2 times pi times 2, because our radius is 2, and that would equal circumference equals 2 times 2 is 4 times pi. So our circumference for 2 meters radius is 4 pi. Now let's look at 6b. It says the radius of a circle whose circumference is 15 pi meters. So in this case, we are given the circumference, and our job is to find the radius. So we're going to have to reverse what we did here. So we know the answer is, the circumference is 15 pi. So in order to get our radius, remember we do 2 times the radius. So in this case, we'll divide it by 2. And so C equals, so our circumference would be 2 pi and then 7.5. And this right here is our radius. So halfway of this is 7.5 meters. So back to the answer, the radius of a circle whose circumference is 15 pi, your circumference would be 7.5 meters. All right, guys. And this right here will be your homework that you would take home just to make sure that you are understanding the lesson. The questions that I expect you guys to answer would be from 1, you would do A through F. You would do all of those. And then on the second one, you would only do 2 through E. And this is just to make sure you guys are understanding and following the lesson that we learned today. Thank you, guys.